Visionaries is proud to present its 22nd season on public television. Sometimes you read the paper and watch the news, and it seems like there's more bad news than good in the world. But you know what? It's just not true.
I at least can hold on to something, that there's something, maybe it's small, but there's something that I'm doing to make a difference.
It's just a feeling that you have. If you can help people, you have to. There's no alternative.
Every child has potential that we just can't know. And so, to my mind, that's what we're doing. We are saving potential for the future.
Millions of Americans don't go to college. Not because they are not smart enough. Some don't go because of family or financial reasons. Others need to acquire a skill and be in the workforce in a matter of months, earning good money. They need a job now, and our economy needs their skills yesterday. This is the story of JobTrain, a California-based nonprofit that offers career training, job placement, and support services that transform lives. That might sound like a lot of hype, but wait till you meet these people. It could change what you think about how to make sure everybody in America has a path to success.
Everybody. Okay, so we got some good news, especially for the new students here. When someone gets a job, what we want them to do is ring the bell. When you hear that bell, that's good news. That means someone got a job, they just got employed. Congratulations. Congratulations. Now, what's also important for you to get some of that good luck, come and shake her hand.
Okay.
Well, we're at JobTrain. This is a vocational training program, and what we do here, we serve our students. We're passing some of the classes now in which we offer our vocational training.
I wanted something different in my life. I wanted to better myself and my skills. It's a feeling like I can't explain. We're all fighting for the same thing, and it's success. And we're all supportive of each other. You know, we don't know each other, and whether I know you from Adam or Eve, if I see you struggling, I'm going to support you. You know, and it's just a really great feeling.
I would say that students who enter the workforce from this intensive 480-hour class are much more employable. I would say that it's absolutely true that they would be ready to join the workforce right away. And what we're after are what we call life-sustaining careers, where they can feed their family, they can have a place to live, and all that good stuff.
One of the things I loved about JobTrain when I came here was that the programs were always changing based on what our employers were telling us. So we have about 70 employers that we work with for each of our technical training areas who tell us, these are the skills we need now. These are the things that will make people successful, and these are the things we're looking for when we're trying to hire people. Those change all the time. And it's really important to stay on top of them, and to constantly be looking at curriculum and saying, are we teaching the right stuff to get people into jobs? Are we making sure that the skills they're learning are going to serve them in the short and the long term?
Our point of focus here is something that I like to call the admin world, which is we're looking for jobs in customer service, data entry, office management, executive office type positions. So everything that we do is with an eye toward, you might have to make a holiday card for your company, you might have to make a letter but then drop the company logo in it. And so there are real world applications for what we're doing. So we're trying to make it a little bit of fun like today, but it really is with a serious eye toward a career.
So we have enrolled about 616 students in this past year, which is one of the highest numbers we've ever enrolled. About 93% of those finished the program, And of those, about 85% are placed in jobs. A year later, about 83% are still in those jobs. And that is a really important piece because a lot of people talk about placement. You've seen some things that colleges have done on occasion, and these are the technical colleges that do the kind of training theoretically that we do. And they say, okay, we'll place somebody for a week, then they're placed. We think it's important that people not only get jobs, but they keep their jobs.
When I came to JobTrain, I came as a career counselor, career developer, and I was picked for this particular role, one, because of my background in business and working with students there, as well as kind of having the open mind about web developing. I've always been interested in the tech industry, the languages, and so when I was brought onto this role, it kind of almost fell in my lap.
So to be honest with you, I've always been into technology. I just didn't know how to approach the tech industry. I have a lot of friends that are in the tech industry, and they kind of told me, you gotta get out there, you gotta get in the trenches and learn on your own, because we can teach you, but some of us have bad habits, some of us have egos, and that's not something you want when you first get into the tech industry.
In many of our clients' cases, college is not the alternative, especially after high school. Some have attended college in the past, and 4 years is definitely not everyone's cup of tea, and it definitely take a long time. So this program was kind of created to identify students that wanted to get into the industry as a way to develop their skills so that they can identify those jobs, because some of those jobs that are out there, especially in the tech-related world, don't necessarily need a college degree to qualify for those kind of positions. So this program was created for that and identified students like Aaron to, not only provide him with the opportunity, but to expose him to the tech industry.
I had thought about going back to college, especially in technology, whether it be mechanical engineering or computer science. I just didn't know how to approach it. It's so broad and there's so much to learn. It's really daunting when you first look at it, but they break it down really well here.
About 95% of the people that come to JobTrain are people from the lowest incomes, so they would be below even the federal poverty line. And so they would be making very little money. Either they would be working many part-time jobs or one part-time job or 2 or 3 part-time jobs just to make enough to maybe barely live on someone's couch or to pay for some food occasionally. So the people we see are really people who have severe poverty problems. And so they come in and that would be, below minimum wage even. When they leave here, on average, they're making $18 an hour to start. Some of them are making a lot more than that, depending on what trade they're in. Some of them are making a little bit less than that, but our goal is to try and get them to around $17, $18 an hour at the beginning, and then to move up from there.
Right after high school, I really had no clear direction of where I was going in life, and a family friend introduced me to JobTrain. Back then it was called the YCW. And so I had nothing to lose, so I came here and had a look, and fortunately I was able to connect with some really great people here. As far as having a career in business, that was not on my mind. I figured, after high school I'll get a job, maybe working, labor. I had no idea that I was going to be headed in this direction in my life as far as having an office job. The environment that I was in here in East Palo Alto, which was the murder capital of America back in 1992, there were a lot of things going on here. And it's a thin line where you can go one direction or go the other way. When you have your peers or people that you know who are making fast money, lots of money out here on the streets, that can be a huge temptation for a young guy. Fortunately, through JobTrain, they helped steer me in a different direction. And I think just being here at JobTrain, being a part of JobTrain, that really helped shape my life for the future.
So there's a segment of people who just haven't been able to move forward with their lives because they're stuck in a rut of having to have a lot of different pieces of jobs to be able to make ends meet. Other people are coming out of incarceration. They're people who have been to jail for one reason or another. A lot of people here and across the country go to jail for fines or for a variety of other things that are part and parcel of being poor. And so what happens is it becomes another poor tax, and people end up not being able to get beyond that, because when you have anything on your record, it makes it very tough to get a job.
The majority of people that we're dealing with are people who come in for being arrested for drugs, burglary, things of those nature. They're repeat offenders, because when we look at their criminal histories, we've seen that they've pretty much been coming in and out of custody their entire life on those things. So there's a couple schools they can go to, the culinary or the construction school. And what they do is they mentor them for 16 weeks and help them become successful. And once they complete these programs, we end up helping them obtain employment. And the whole reason we do this is to help them stop coming into to jail, so we can get them on a successful plan in life.
This concept of recidivism and this concept of people sort of breaking that cycle is an evolutionary process. It's ongoing. There has to be people outside the facility that pick up where we leave off.
It originates with us having a vested interest in the people that are here. We want to see people successful. We don't want to see people come back into jail. If we give them all the tools and we understand their socioeconomic background and where they come from, it's an investment in that person. We're investing in a human being. Okay, we're not just saying, okay, your release date is here, good luck to you in life. Because we know that they're going to fall back on what they know, and sometimes all they know is that past criminal life. So we try to change that. And we try to help them move into a successful generation so they can integrate right back into society.
So really our goal is to move from this high control environment, the custody environment, to a transitional environment where we start to put a little bit more individual responsibility on the individual themselves, ultimately to the point where they are then released on electronic monitoring, out of the facility during the daytime, and then ultimately fully released. So this particular facility that we're standing in now is the beginning training session in the culinary arts field.
Welcome to the JobTrain kitchen. We don't teach anybody how to cook here. We teach them how to work in a commercial kitchen. So the goal of the 12-week program at JobTrain in the culinary arts is to take people who have never been in a commercial kitchen before and have them come out work ready. At home, yeah, you want something, you walk to the refrigerator, you open it up, you want more onions, you go back and get them. In the commercial kitchen, there are 6 P's of professional cooking. So the first one that we teach is what, guys? Planning. Before you start cooking anything, you plan. What's the second one? Preparation. The second thing you do is preparation. So you get all your ingredients, everything together before you cook. What's the third one? Presentation. So in presentations, you figure out how it's going to look. How you're going to serve that on the plate. Fourth one? Passion. At home, you're cooking a lot of times because you have to cook. Here, you got to cook because you really want to cook. You really want to make that people happy. You want your love, your passion, and your what? Pride. So pride, we teach, don't serve anything to a customer that you wouldn't serve to your grandmother and tell her you're proud of it. And the last one is, profit. When you cook at home, you don't really worry about whether or not you made a profit. If you're doing Thanksgiving dinner for 10 people at your house, you're doing a July 4th barbecue for 50 people, you don't worry about profit. In a professional kitchen, you worry about profit all the time, or you're going to find you're out of a job. Okay, guys, everybody grab a steak. So you're going to start on what side of the grill?
Recently in the past, I actually went to Le Cordon Bleu, and I went to the Art Institute interested in culinary, and both schools wanted like $30,000 plus. So when I learned about JobTrain, I just jumped right in because it's actually free.
This is a life-changing experience, especially because I have a son. He's 6 years old, and being a single mother incarcerated, I'm back about 10 steps as far as providing and being there for a single mother incarcerated. this is not only just an opportunity to get a job and a career, it's an opportunity to put my life back on track and in a good place.
Well, I'm currently incarcerated, and when that happened, I have a baby daughter at home, and I didn't want her to grow up and look at me in a negative way. I wanted to have her look at me in a positive and be proud of me for what I'm doing. So I heard about JobTrain, and as soon as I could, I applied for it and did everything I could to get involved and make my way here. So I'm on my way to starting a completely new life for her, and they encourage me every single day, all day long. So I'm so grateful for them. They always are cheerleading me on. Even if you do screw up, it happens sometimes, and with that screw up, don't look at it as the end of the world. You gotta pick yourself back up, and you gotta keep trying and keep moving forward. If you get stuck, just saying to yourself that it's over and you're just going to sit there and do your time in jail and then get out, and that you're going to end up in the same place. You got to look for something no matter where you're at. Do anything positive that you can get your hands on and go from there. I mean, the only thing you can do is better yourself. So just sitting there in misery isn't going to solve anything. You got to keep trying.
So what is going on here is a program called Project Build. It teaches young people the basic skills of carpentry in the construction field. The program is 17 weeks. The end goal is to try to get into the Carpenters Union right here in the Bay Area. I'm a member of the union. JobTrain has a relation with the union that allows us to do this program. They give us a lot of support, and they have a mentorship who comes in and deals with the students once in a while.
When I first came here, I just wanted to try something out. I wanted to see if I do like the carpentry trade, and well, after just 6 weeks, I really do enjoy it, and I can see myself actually making a career out of this and enjoying the kind of work that I do.
For me, it was just I got tired of the basic 9-to-5 job. I was always the kind of guy who liked to do stuff with my hands, so I figured that I can find a career in helping out with the community and building the great buildings that they're building around here. Sorry about that.
I'm here pretty much for the same reason. When I was in high school, I always thought that life was gonna, just go my way, because in high school it was always like that. I always got what I wanted. I was always doing good in school, and I never really tried. Then as soon as I, graduated, turned 18, I really didn't know what to do with my life. I thought that things would just come my way. It wouldn't happen like that. So right now I'm here to actually make something come my way. I got to take the first step to get through the door.
From the beginning, we didn't know one another, but eventually with time, it became more like a family bond type teamwork stuff. That I like it because you learn a lot, and everybody helps one another no matter what the situation is.
I knew a couple people here when I first got here, but now that we've been here for 6 weeks, we've all bonded together. These guys in this class, guys and gals in this class are like family to me now. It's been a good time being around all these people.
There's an incredible group of people working here who some have grown up together, some have come in because they've seen the magic here and wanted to join. And I think when you have a group of professionals who have worked so hard to develop an approach that's worked for so long, what you want to do is make them successful.
So at this point, I have my water, and what is the water temperature? 105. And we can also ask them.
We have a variety of situations, but most of the students in here are graduating from high school. They were working somewhere else, like maybe a Starbucks or at the department store or a grocery store, and they are looking for a more professional career and higher pay, of course.
I think it's stepping stone to keep on going. I want to get my RN, and in 10 years from now, I want to work in a hospital, and I want to get experience, because what I really want to do is travel and help other kids and other people that doesn't have any money to pay for medical care. So that's what I want to do in 10 years from now.
I'm a mother of 2 kids. I have a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old, and being here makes me happy because my daughter tells me every day, I want to go to school with you. She tell me, she think I'm cool because, I'm going to school and doing things, And my daughter's very smart at school. She's like, Mom, you need to go to school. You need to find a job. She tells me things like this. So, that's what really made me come to JobTrain.
I would say most of the students, if not all of them, want to be here. And that's something that makes me want to be here as well for them. This is something that I might not have experienced previously with bigger classes, but I noticed that bigger percentage, I would say like 99% of my students are here because they want to be here.
I came here because I was a teen mom. I had my daughter when I was 15, and I dropped out of high school. So basically I was just working in a fast food restaurant, and I needed some education so I can become something better for my daughter, to show her that she needs to go to college, she needs to get her education done right, so she can be a better person and to have better wealth than I have. I decided to be a CNA because I wanted to give out my love and my respect for older people. Also because I want to help people out that had been in cancer, because my mom had cancer, and just to be out there in the medical field, something different, something better for myself.
I came here because I am a single mom of 5 children. I have 3 of them that were hospitalized, and I saw how the nurses took care of them, and I love how it was, and especially babies are expensive, especially for a single parent. Also because I am a cancer survivor. I've been surviving it for 32 years, and it's something that I could share, and I know the pain and the everyday of, am I gonna live today? Am I gonna get sick tomorrow?
Well, before I came here, I was working 2 jobs. I'm alone. I have no kids. I have no family. So the working 2 jobs is just to stay alive. So when I came here, I got a family. And I'm having a hard time. They help me. And I've never had that before. And I was lost before I came here. And then when I came here, like, if I don't understand something, and they explain it and they want to help me, and I've never had that before. If I don't get it, I have to figure out some other way to, function, to deal with life. But here, like, people really care. Here, it's like a great opportunity. And we're here to care for people, and we care for one another. So that's a big step, because we got to learn to care for ourselves and around to care for other people when we go to the hospital. I really like JobTrain. I like my class, and we are a family, Yeah, we're crazy, but we are a family. We are a family.
When we live in peace and harmony, it pleases God. When we love and serve others, putting our needs above our own, we are honoring Him. When we carry each other's burdens, we are fulfilling the law of Christ, which is...
Well, for me in my role at JobTrain, the very first day that students are in class, I go into the class and I introduce myself and try to help set some of the expectations for the students about what they can expect for the next 16 weeks. And so throughout that time and that evolution, I see people that don't really know one another kind of gel within the classroom. People that are kind of a little more withdrawn, they're out of their shell by the time that they finish class. And then they see me here at graduation, and I engage with all the family and the kids. It really is amazing. This is my second JobTrain graduation, and what to expect from inside is family members, children, relatives just gathering and really celebrating the fact that there's been an accomplishment made.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise as we welcome our graduating class. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to JobTrain's President and CEO, Nora Sobolov.
So welcome to our community, our volunteers, our supporters, our board, our advisors, and our esteemed guests. Are you proud of your graduates? So now, You have some people to thank. So let's look over this room at all the people supporting you, your instructors, your teachers, your counselors, your family, your friends. Let me have you congratulate them. Come on, help me out. Our great-grandmothers and our great-grandfathers risked everything to make a road to a better life. And they worked really hard to create a world that was better than the one they found, and that's your job now. I've never been more inspired than I am at a JobTrain graduation, but I always like to end with the incomparable Dr. King. And these are things that I think are important for us to remember in good times and in bad, so that we can always have the strength to move forward. And he said, "Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that." He said, "Hate can't drive out hate. Only love can do that." I want you to promise that you'll stick with love and always let that guide you, because I want your burden to be lighter. We're here, your JobTrain friends and family. Don't ever forget we are with you and we will always be with you. Can you remember that? I hear you. Congratulations.
There's a saying at JobTrain, don't look back. You're not going that way. Your past does not define your future.
For the Visionaries, I am Sam Waterston.
Visionaries is brought to you through the generosity of Honda, Cambia Health Foundation, Eustace Kwan Family Foundation, First Nonprofit Foundation, Massimo, CGIAR, Friends of the League Foundation, Newman's Own Foundation, Group M, Inner Workings, Gustafson Family Trust, Dr. and Mrs. Dennis Gustafson, with additional support by Grand Island Chamber of Commerce, the Bill and Mary Hall Fund, Hall County Convention and Visitors Bureau, the Nebraska Tourism Commission, Citizens Commercial Banking, the Herman Family Foundation, Andy Goodman, Deborah Pate and John Forrest, Diane Deshawn, Friends of Becoming Independent, the State of Norman Chalmers, African Development Bank, the Ernest L. and Ruth W. Finley Foundation, Paul and Deborah Cleveland, Tiari and Richard Moser, MD, Nigerian Government, Cornerstone Legacy Foundation, and Luis and Hank Leander. And from the phone.